This tutorial will show a new student how to register online for continuing studies courses at VCC. First, start at the VCC homepage, vcc.ca. Then, go to the large VCC Continuing Studies panel here and click on this. This will bring you to a page that shows all the program areas within continuing studies. All the courses are within these areas. Let's say we want to register for a Spanish course. We would go to the Language and Writing section, and within that, click on Languages. This brings up the Language Program Area box. These boxes here are just basic facts. These boxes here are links that take you to more detailed information about different topics. We want to register, so we just go to the Register Now box. And since we want to register online, we go to the Register Now link within the online box and click on that. This brings us to the Continuing Studies course registration page. The bottom green link is for returning students, those students who already have a student number. We're a new student, so we don't have a student number, so we want to register for courses for new students with the top green link. So we click on that, and this brings us to the start of the application process. The first thing we have to do is to create a temporary login and PIN. The login can be any string of characters up to a maximum of 9. The PIN has to be exactly 6 digits. I'm just going to enter 111111. Login. This brings us to the application type page. It's defaulted to continuing studies, so just click on Continue. Here we have to choose a term. The term contains the month in which the course starts that you want to register for. Enter your first name, followed by your last name, and then click on the Fill Out Application button. This is the application checklist page. You'll see here 5 separate sections, all of which need to be completed before we can be assigned a student number. Starting with the name section, this is information we've already filled in, so we can just click on the Continue button to take us to the next section, which is the mailing address and phone. So fill this in. I'm just going to use 123 Main Street in North Vancouver. The province you can type in directly, or you can choose from the drop-down list, which I'm going to use. Postal code has to be in the format letter, space, number, letter, number. Country, again here we can type it in directly or just choose from the drop-down menu. And it's Canada. And the phone number, the first box is for the area code. The second box is the 7-digit phone number with no spaces or hyphens. Okay, when that's filled, click Continue. This page requires several bits of personal information, starting with your citizenship status. We're going to be Canadian here. The email address has to be in the format name@domain.something. So name at Hotmail or at Shaw or at TELUS, and then .ca, .com, .net, whatever it is. It gets you to type it in twice just to make sure there's no typing errors. Then we click on Gender, which is male in this case. Then we go down to Birth date. And the last thing on this page is, are you a Canadian or landed immigrant? If so, say yes. If not, then say no. Continuing, we go to what's called the program page. Now here, there's only one choice, but you do have to select it from the drop-down menu, General Studies. So we do that for all continuing studies courses. And the final section requires additional citizenship information. The college needs this for all students. So again, we say Canadian citizen. Citizenship visa identification number is just N/A. If you're a permanent resident or international student, you would have a visa and there would be start and end dates, which you would select here. For Canadian citizen, we just put in today's date for both the issue date and the expiration date. Like so. Citizenship country, in this case, is Canada. Drop-down menu, nation of birth is also Canada. And the native language will be English. Now we click on the Continue button, which takes us back to the application checklist, and you can see all the sections have now been checkmarked, indicating they've all been completed. Once that's done, click on the Application is Complete button. Now we're assigned a student number, which is shown here. Write it down because this will be your permanent VCC student number from now on. Click on the Register Now button at the bottom. Now we're required to change our PIN from the temporary one that we created at the beginning. So we enter the current PIN as 111111, and I'm just going to use 222222 as my new PIN. Click on Login. These are some legal conditions about using the VCC website. Please read them, and if you agree, click on Continue. Now we have to choose a security question from the drop-down menu here. This is just any question that you won't forget the answer to. I'm going to choose in what city were you born. The answer will be Vancouver, and this won't change. This is so that if you forget your PIN at a later date, we can reset it to your birth date using this question. Click on Submit, and now we're at the VCC Online Services Secure web page. This has several options. We want Student Services because that's where we're going to be able to register. And you can see among the options here at the top, Register for Courses. So we click on that. This brings us to the main registration menu. The first thing we need to do here is select a term. You'll see from the drop-down menu that there are a number of choices. It's very important to pick one that has Continuing Studies in the title. We're going to register for a course in the January term, so we're going to select the Continuing Studies January to March 2015 term. Click on Submit, and this brings us back to the main registration menu. The next item on here that we want is Add Drop Classes. So we click on that. This brings us to the main VCC registration page. Here is where you take the CRN number for the course that you want, and you simply enter it in one of these boxes at the bottom. So the CRN for the class that we want is 10318. Enter that like that, and click on Submit. And you'll see the same page comes back, but now it shows us that we're registered, in this case for Spanish 1, with the CRN that we entered, 10318. The last step is just to pay the fees for the course. Click on this link here, Fee Payment. This brings up an account page which shows you the total amount owing. This includes tuition, taxes, possibly supplies. Usually textbooks are not included. Clicking Submit brings up the fee payment verification page. As a continuing study student, just click on the Submit button at the top. This is the bank's payment authorization page. You need to choose your method of payment, whether it's by credit card or Interact Online. We're using credit card, and that's already selected, so we just go down to the cardholder name and enter the name that's on the card we're going to use, followed by the credit card number with no dashes or spaces in between the sets of numbers on the card, followed by the expiry date, which will be the month and the year. Then just click on the Process Transaction button, and this data will be sent off to the bank, and an authorization number will come back to you, finishing the process.